Welcome to Fake It Till You Make It and Then What? This is a conversation about being a mom, a wife, an author, and my journey through life. Welcome to Fake It Till You Make It. Today, I want to spend my time talking about color guard and my experience with all of that. But first, I want to start off by saying congratulations to the Hebron High School marching band from Carrollton, Texas. They just won silver at Bands of America Super Regional Competition and gold first place at UIL State Competition. Such an excellent program, such talented musicians and color guard members, along with the staff and the parent supports and the band booster organization. So I just wanted to start by acknowledging that program. My two oldest daughters are alumni from there. And I am a parent alumni, so I'm super excited to see them doing so well. So what is color guard? For some of you, if you're not a part of marching band or music at your schools, or maybe your program might be small, maybe you don't have a color guard, it is under the category of music education and performing arts. Color guard is a creative and performing arts sport. It uses dance, flags, rifles, sabers, props, drama, and even theater to tell visual stories. When I hit up Google to search the history of color guard, it showed me that it came from the military. That's where it originated. Back where armies would carry flags with symbolic colors and their insignia into battle that would represent the kingdom and the rulers that they were fighting for. During the English Civil War, a soldier would hold a flag with the colors on it while the band played music, and this would help keep the soldiers' spirits up and motivate them. Well, fast forward to today, in modern times, it has evolved into the color guard that we see with dance and decorative flags. In the fall, color guard members perform with the marching band on a football field, and they have an impact on the visual score for the team. In the winter and the spring, they perform without the entire marching band. They compete in gyms or arenas, and they use floor coverings, props, and music tracks. WGI is an organization that was formed in the 1970s to oversee color guard activity in the United States, and they set the rules and regulations. But to give you an idea of how popular it is, there are more than 40,000 participants at the regional level and more than 12,000 participants at the Sport of the Arts World Championships in 2024. And this information is from the website. Maybe you're thinking, oh, I was in color guard and then I didn't do anything after high school. How could I still be involved? You can volunteer your time. You can donate your time, your money, your energy to support. If your local school has a band program, consider checking out their website. And then you can support. That's a whole nother way to stay involved. But my journey with dance and color guard started when I was about 6 years old. I was in first grade and I took ballet, tap, and jazz. I took gymnastics. I only did it for about a year, maybe a year and a half. And then I was involved in talent shows in elementary school. When I was in middle school, we had moved to Florida. We had relocated to Florida, and I joined band. My brother and my sister had also taken band, and so I joined band, but I was interested in dance. And at the school that I went to, we had a hip hop dance team. I tried out, I made the team, loved it. Pembroke Pines Middle School. I was a Pantherette in 7th grade. I also made it in 8th grade. But then we moved from Florida back to Texas to the Dallas area. And the school that I went to in the Dallas area did not have a hip hop style dance team. There was drill team, there was cheer, there was band and marching band, but there was not this style of dance. And so I just said, okay, I'll just go back to doing band. And so 8th grade, 9th grade, I was in marching band, had a really cool show. It was the medieval times, and our drum majors were, one drum major knighted the other drum major. We always won Best Drum Major award. And I can remember being in practice, and I would look at the back of the marching field and I would see these big pink practice flags. And it was the color guard. They were practicing. And I was curious. I didn't really know what color guard was, what they did, but I just, would see glimpses of them. So at the end of the year, they opened up the doors for auditions. I tried out, made it, and loved it. Now, when I tried out, when I was in Florida, cross colors was the big thing. I was very hip hop in my fashion, like crisscross, TLC, baggy jeans, big clunky shoes. I would buy, men's, those super long shorts. So I had to, my dad had to take me shopping to get some new tennis shoes that I could wear to do color guard. It totally changed my style, how I showed up. I really evolved, and I loved it. It wasn't like I was trying to be something. It just, I changed and kind of stepped out of this hip hop and into this more jazz style. And so while I was doing color guard, we would do across the floors, we would do jazz, we would spin the flags, and it was just super exciting. Then I graduated high school and I had my daughter, and I started taking classes at the community college. And I said, okay, I want to continue dance. There's not an option for color guard at the community college. What can I do? So I decided I would take dance, but I was nervous about taking dance classes. And so I took tap. I was like, well, this is safe. I don't have to have this quote dancer's body or this super technique that I'm not sure if I have. And so I took tap, and it was cool. It was fun. And then we moved to Maryland. We moved back to Dallas, and I was working. Decided to go back to school to continue working on my degree. And I said, okay, I'll take dance again. That'll be my PE credit. And this time I took jazz and loved it. It was incredible. Like Bob Fosse, Broadway jazz. One time, one of our assignments was to learn the choreography from a chorus line and perform it. But I took jazz, I took ballet, I took hip hop, I took modern, and just had the opportunity to grow in that area. Fast forward to 2002, I joined my church, and they had a dance ministry. I can remember the Sunday where it most stands out to me. My father and I had gone to service, and we sat in the balcony, and the dancers were performing one of their special pieces, and they come out of the coves, and they had on these white unitards and white pants and these colorful vest and skirt panels, and they danced a routine to Presence of the Lord. And it was so full of energy and so full of life and so full of joy, and it was fun. And the dance director, when she was a youth, she had done cheerleading. So she had incorporated cheer moves and cartwheels. It was just incredible. And I saw it on the stage, and I said, I have to do that. I don't know what this is, but I have to be a part of it. And so when I had the opportunity, I went and tried out for the dance ministry and joined and got to learn what praise dances in church. So not all Christian churches participate, have praise dance ministries, but our church did. It still does. And basically it is movements to Christian songs. And it is an expression of our faith and of our worship to God. And it goes before the preaching of the word to help break up the ground. And I'll talk about this more in another episode. But on my praise dance journey, usually twice a year, we would have a really big production. So celebrating Easter, which was the death, burial, and resurrection of Christ, and Christmas, which celebrates the birth of Christ, we would have productions, and we would have dance, and there would be drama. And so I had the opportunity to be involved in this. We did dance patterns and we did productions, but I got to introduce my style of flags to praise dance. And so there are praise dancers who do flags. And sometimes it is a spontaneous worship or prophetic worship, but mine is choreography based and movement based on technique. And so I got to bring this to the dance ministry space, and I was able to teach swing flags and eventually 5-foot. We would use 5-foot poles and put flags on them, and we did some choreography. So that was really cool, really cool. My oldest daughter, she played clarinet when she was in middle school, tried out for color guard in high school, ended up loving it, finished out her high school career, being a part of color guard, winter guard. Then 9 years later, I had stopped dancing because I started working full time, and my daughter tried out for color guard. It was COVID. She kind of was sent home with a flag, and it was like, watch this video, good luck. And she tried out, made it, and was just a beautiful performer as well. And I didn't realize how much I had missed it until I saw my daughters and this new updated version of color guard, because I did color guard in the 90s. It was very linear. It was Peggy spins. It was pinwheels. It was aerials. And it had evolved into this contemporary dance and modern dance. And the way they moved the flag was carving through different planes, and there was just so much expression. And I fell in love with it all over again. And got a chance to be a band parent, a guard mom, volunteered. With my oldest daughter, we were actually volunteering and sewing flags. At the time, I was a seamstress, and I was sewing garments for the dance team at the church, and I had the opportunity to design and sew dance garments for one of the high school shows. And it was just so fulfilling, so incredible. And yeah, so that is a little bit about my journey with color guard and, my start. I'm still connected to friends of mine that were in band, some of my closest friends and longest friends. We have a group chat and we check in every so often, like, how's it going? What are you doing? What are you up to? So all of that leads me to a conversation that I had with my middle daughter as she was going through her senior year of high school. And so she is very much like me. She is introverted. She's an artist. And so I'm just going to share that conversation with you. Check it out. Everyone, meet Olivia Michael Noel. Some know her as Olivia. Some it's Livy. Some it's Liv. Some it's Olive, some it's Flint, but welcome to the podcast. Yay! So we'll dive right in. You are a senior this year. Mm-hmm. Woo! Woo! What are your thoughts? How has this year been?
Interesting. I'm having major senioritis right now.
As in, like, don't want to show up, just want to, like, chill and be done.
Yeah.
I can remember that. Well, tell me a little about you. What is something that you've enjoyed over your 4 years? And what groups have you been a part of?
I love to draw. That's the main thing. Whenever I'm done with school, I want to do art stuff.
Yeah.
And throughout high school, I've been involved within the band and color guard program.
Very cool. And yes, I happen to know that you have 7, right? Medals?
I think it's, yeah.
Silver, gold, bronze, you name it. She has earned it with her teammates. So how was that experience? If you could use 4 adjectives to describe your journey, what adjectives would you use?
Frustrating, memorable, stressful, and fun.
That's good. Too good, too stressful. Yes, it
Try
is.
to even it out.
I cannot even imagine to be on a championship level. It is very intense, very competitive, a lot of hard work. I was there watching, dropping off, so I understand all of those adjectives. What is a question you keep getting asked over and over this year?
Oh, what college am I going to go to?
And what is your thought like on what's next? What people are always wanting to know. So for adults, it's like, do you have a boyfriend? And then if you have a boyfriend, it's like, are you going to get married? And then when you get married, are you going to have kids? Like, what are your thoughts on what's next being anyone's business?
I feel kind of like I get tired of it.
Right.
I'm just like, just let me live. Let me do what I want.
Right. It's like on one hand, there's time. I don't have to know what I'm going to be doing in 50 years right this moment. So calm down. What about thoughts on suburban life? I know this is pretty much all you know.
Yeah.
Is it like thumbs up, thumbs in the middle, thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Yeah. I grew up in the suburbs and it's comfortable. I like it. It's, I don't have complaints. I've lived in the city. I lived in Washington, D.C. for 2 years and it was cool. Don't know that I'd want to spend more than, like a visit with that lifestyle. It's just different. It's just very different. All right. And last question. What are your thoughts on, so all the senior things. So this year you got to have prom. How was prom?
It was all right. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Right. So you are very much like me. You're an introvert. Mm-hmm. We don't mind being around people, but we'd rather be home, like relaxed, clean, not having to talk much. So when it's like a big party, that it's like exciting, but not exciting at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was the theme for your prom?
Met Gala.
Met Gala is actually going on right now.
Oh,
and I've been seeing pretty cool pictures. And I saw some of the kids whenever they were going in and they were all, glittered up. So it seemed pretty fun. But yeah, so senior year, graduation, 7 medals in the bag. Are you excited for graduation? Any thoughts about that or just kind of ready to get it over with?
Meh. I'm tired of school, but I don't want adult responsibilities yet.
I feel you. It's like once you get done, you don't get to go back into that kid life. You know, whenever you're a kid, you don't have that responsibility, and now it's kind of like shifting gears. It's a whole new transition, but it's not too bad. There's freedom, but there's also the responsibility is a bit of weight, but not a bad weight. It's you kind of get to shape your life however you want it to be. Any thoughts on anything? So what are you working on? I know that you are an artist and you draw. Are there any projects you've got going on or coming up in the next couple of months?
I'm working on developing a YouTube channel, which is fun.
That's exciting. And what will your YouTube channel feature?
Basically, like, mostly like speed paints, I guess.
Okay.
'Cause that'd be like the easiest for me to do.
Yeah, I've seen that. That should be really cool because you're an amazing artist, but also a lot of people watch those, so it shouldn't be hard to start getting a following. And then commissioning work. Shameless plug. Commissioning work. Yes. She will be commissioning work soon. What is one of your favorite artists / musician / singer-songwriter? Who do you like to listen to?
Taylor Swift.
Ah, Swiftie. I can say that I am a Swiftie thanks to Olivia. We've been rocking with Taylor since 2017, 2018, like pre-pandemic.
Yeah, because it was like when I was
school?
in middle school.
Yeah. And then, yeah, because
We started listening it to whenever you were dropping me off at middle school.
like Reputation, and then she put out Lover, and I was like, hey, she's on TV. And it was like, oh, okay. Then it was like pandemic. Then it was like album drop. Then another album dropped. And then I was hooked. I was like, okay. So she's pretty cool. If you could go to a concert in person, not that you and I are the concert in person type, but if we had the opportunity to go to a concert in person, who would you want to see?
Taylor Swift. Is that a question?
Well, we got to see Eras on the TV, and that was pretty cool. It was pretty fun. So yeah, it seems like in person it would be an experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is your favorite animal / pet?
Cats. I love cats.
If you could, how many cats would you like to have? Like, say you had your own house, your own space. How many cat friends would you like to have?
Like 3? Maximum 4.
Yeah.
No more than 4.
Yeah. Then it becomes like a herd.
Crazy cat lady.
Right. Yeah. 2 and 3 is kind of fun because they have their little personalities.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's your favorite food?
Pasta and rice.
Carbs. Yeah, mine is like, man, I don't know what I used to say pizza, but it's not pizza anymore. Like, pizza's on occasion.
I'd say salad.
Yeah, I really do like salad. I like building these creative creations of salads, and then I'll add a little protein, like usually chicken, but I do like salad. I really like fruit, like strawberries and watermelon and berries, and so yeah, fruit and salad. That sounds so boring and like adult. It used to be like pizza, apple pie, sweets, and now it's like salad. And I do like pho, like the broth that comes with pho. I really like really good broth. It's like warm and cozy. What is your favorite, drumroll, book?
Oh, okay. So in middle school, I would have said the Warriors Cats book series, but now I'm going to say the Lunar Chronicles
Oh, that's
by
a new
Marissa
one.
Myers.
Okay. And what is that about?
Basically, sci-fi fairy tales.
And see, I love fairy tales. I don't know if I love sci-fi. I like sci-fi. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. So,
I think I only really like sci-fi if it's like combined with fantasy, then I'm like, oh wow.
yeah. Then it's not like too out there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
That was such a neat conversation. It's really cool to get into the minds of people close to you. Sometimes you think you know what they're thinking, or you assume they're thinking the same thing that you are. But it's really cool to get to know your team and your people. But also, hearing all of her favorite things helps me segue into something that I have started doing. So in 2021, I started publishing some books that I wrote. I've published several children's books and several journals. And the journal that I'm going to briefly talk about is, I have 3 color guard journals. The first one is called Stay in Your Toaster, the totally cool guided journal for color guard members. Everybody, okay, not everybody. I always hate blanket statements, but many people love journaling. Journaling is great for getting your thoughts out of your head, putting them on paper, stress relief, help navigating your life. So journaling is good. But what I wanted to do, one thing that I noticed was that when you're a part of a team, especially of a competitive team, there's a lot of stress associated with that. So I wanted to create something fun where the young ladies could just take a moment and decompress and have a place to put their thoughts, but also have a place to put their good memories. So that was kind of my inspiration behind this journal. And so it's something that a color guard person could do while they're on the bus ride, going to contest, or when they're at home and they're done doing all of the homework that still comes, and or you're waiting for the football game on Friday. So this has several questions, and then it's got space for you to journal and write. And it's just a fun way to have that journal practice. So Stay in Your Toaster, the totally cool guided journal for color guard members. Okay, I'm going to flip through and read 2 questions. Okay, one thoughtful question. What are some of the challenges you faced during your time in color guard, and how have you overcome them? Right? So that gets you thinking about, what is something that brings me stress? And then how have I got past it? Maybe you haven't got past it. Maybe you need to get past it. Maybe you need to talk through your feelings. And then something that's a little bit more fun and encourages team interaction. Who will stay up and keep the party going? Right? So if you are a competitive color guard member, you know that you're on the bus sometimes overnight, sometimes 11 o'clock at night after a game. Who is the person on your team that's going to be up, still talking, and everyone's like, be quiet, go to bed, right? Okay, so that is the first journal, Stay in Your Toaster. The second journal is called And Now Taking the Floor, Self-Care Journal for Guard Members. All right, so something that I am very interested in, very passionate, is is emotional intelligence. So post-COVID, a lot of people were introduced to mental health and emotional intelligence and what is depression, what is anxiety. We were sitting at home experiencing all these emotions, and now we had to not hide it anymore. We had to reach out and get help. And so the more that this language of mental health, mental well-being, emotional intelligence, self-help, as all this language becomes normal to talk about and to not hide, I wanted to bring it to this space for these young individuals who maybe are not sitting around diagnosing themselves and saying, oh, I think I'm feeling like this. I think I'm feeling like this. So this self-care journal asks questions for young performers to just take a minute and think about, how am I feeling? What am I doing? It also has crossword puzzles and little pictures that can be colored, because these are things that can take your mind off of stressful situations. Like coloring, you're focusing on the color, so it's a bit cathartic. Crossword puzzles, you're taking the focus off of being anxious and you're putting your thoughts into something. So there's several word searches that are themed around dance and flags and color guard. There's several pages of different types of flags, and you can color them and decorate them. And again, I'm going to read you 2 questions. How do you emotionally support your teammates during rehearsals and performances? And a more fun question, if you and your teammates formed an improv comedy group, what would the name be? So that is the second journal. And Now Taking the Floor. And Now Taking the Floor is also geared towards the Winter Guard season. So for those who don't know, Winter Guard happens indoors. It happens after marching season is over. The members of the team start rehearsing around in the winter, so maybe December through January. They have their first performances in January, February, and then they finish their season in the spring, so it could be March or April. And it's all about the performers. So marching band is everything. It is the percussion, it is the marching band, it is the color guard, it is the visual effect, it's everything all together. But Winter Guard is all about the performers. So the props, the costumes, the makeup, bringing this choreography to life, bringing a bit of acting and personality to the floor. And just depending on what level your team is on, it can be super intense or it can be super laid back. And just depending on what kind of personality you or your young person has, it can be amazing and wonderful, or it can be challenging and stressful. So my hope is that this is a resource for someone to take a moment, kind of do a self-assessment, say, am I good? And finally, I Can't. There's Rehearsal is a weekly self-care journal for Guard parents. How many of you band or Guard parents know that if your child is in the band or color guard, you are too? It becomes a job. I personally loved it, but it requires a lot of time, a lot of taxiing, a lot of making friends with other band parents. It's giving rides. It's calling and asking, can you get a ride? It's just all the things. It's so many things. And it can be overwhelming. It can be amazing. And so this journal I created just kind of watching the journey, watching how some parents respond. Some parents were just completely overwhelmed and like, I don't understand why I'm doing this. But then at the end of the season, when they see how much growth and how far their children have come, they're like, oh, okay, I get it. And also, when you're past the intensity of competition season, then you can kind of breathe and you look back and you're like, oh, this wasn't so bad. I could do this. And then you get to the next year. But anyways, this is a self-care journal. This has weekly prompts. So maybe you're sitting in the car line, or maybe you've gotten up early because your child has a rehearsal and you need something to help you decompress or fill your time. This is a journal where you can write specific to that journey. And then it can become a keepsake. So years later, you can look back and say, oh my goodness, look at what this journey looked like. There's rehearsal, a weekly self-care journal for guard parents. So yeah, those are 3 journals, books that I have written. They are available print on demand on Amazon. So I hope you will check it out. If it seems like something you're interested in, you can go to my website, tyayrzallen.com, see a little bit more. And you can go straight to Amazon, /TyAirzallen, I believe is the correct address. And you can look into getting a copy yourself. And I will also share some information if you do get a copy, or if you're interested in bulk ordering, I can provide a reduced rate if you're ordering over 25 copies of this book. That's our time. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening in. Remember, you can follow me on social media, TyAirzallen. If you have a question, if you just want me to read your letter, give you some encouragement, share a story with our listeners, laugh, email me, tyairzallen@gmail.com. Can't wait to hear from you. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you well.